Hello everyone, and welcome to this unboxing video for Kingdom Death Monsters Halloween 2018 haul. So, here's my order from the Kingdom Death store for Halloween 2018. All of these are brand new to the store this time. I've got 2 art models, a new set of dice, and an art model slash technically a white box model at the same time, but the Halloween unique model that was new this year. So, I'm going to leave this one for last and start off with the dice, though. So, they finally put out Halloween dice. Would have preferred them being black and orange, but I'm very happy with the purple and orange. I still don't know which one's the primary color as opposed to the alternate, but we're about to find out. And they're even labeled as Halloween Death Dice, because that's what the dice are actually called, Death Dice. Rattle, 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 rattle. Come on. Ow. There we go. Oh, goody. The primary color is orange. So, it's the usual. Nothing different about these dice in terms of their design, just the coloration. So you've got the lantern for the 10, and then they are normal D10s otherwise, along with the hit location dice, which again are 1 for each location, except for chest. And then we have 1 of each of those dice as an alternate color. In total, there are 5 D10s and 4 hit location dice. This makes, I think, my 6th set of Kingdom Death dice. I have a problem. It's called not enough dice. Alright, next up, we're on to the new Death High model. This is the 3rd one in the series, and I've really been enjoying it, and it's their first male model. It's the male preacher. This, I forgot for a bit, is also a first edition run. I had just missed out on getting a first edition run on the other art model. Literally it was in my cart, and I hadn't finished checking out by the time that they sold out. Thankfully, they now do the first run and encores at the same time, and you just get the first runs if you can. We've got the small art card zoomed in. It's got a different background as opposed to the pure white. And then we've got the larger art card. I still love this series so much. A base as per usual, which is still 2 pieces. They just kind of stick together pretty easily. So I've realized what the difference is with these newer models, the orange ones. They are 3D printed as opposed to mold injection. So I had to deal with that for a bit, cleaning up one of these models a lot, and it gets kind of annoying getting into some of the details. But speaking of details, they're able to get a lot more into single pieces. So here is the majority of him. He's got what appears to be, by the artwork, a cigarette in his mouth, a bunch of scarves and or a coat, a briefcase on the side. And then here is his other leg, which is in a kneeling or a foot on something position, because we'll get to that in a bit. And his other arm with the giant hammer that he slings over his shoulder. And then here is what he's standing on. A person. They go on their side. They're actually flat. And they still have a decent amount of detail. Not nearly as much as he does, but hey, I'm not going to complain. I like the more dynamic bases as opposed to the flat ones, mainly because I don't like doing base work myself. Again, I like as I've said in many of my painting videos, I like my models looking like gaming pieces, but I have no problem with the fact of having dynamic bases built in. Then we move on to the Azure Knight, the new generic line model. This was the one that I missed out on the first run of, but c'est la vie. Happy to have it. I don't really remember what it was, but something about this just made me go, ooh, I want this. Like, I've been enjoying a lot of the generics, but I don't like all of them. So, we've got the usual 2 base pieces. Then we've got the close-up card with that smug-ish look. She appears to have a corset over a white outfit, and beyond that, she mainly just has blue accented things, like whatever the thing in her one hand is, and the other one being a gem, be that to be a mocktail, the scabbard for the dagger on her back, and then her hair, and of course, ears on the hood. But onto the model itself. This is a normal resin, so the grayscale with all the tiny little, very fragile pieces. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of these. So here is her body and a leg. Holy crap, her tits are not a separate piece. I say that jokingly because it happens actually a lot more often than I would assume. For some reason, Poots has the tendency, or his artists have the tendency to design models where the females have their breasts as one separate piece with like a cavity for the body for them to fit into. Then we've got her head with the hair already included. Sorry that the autofocus isn't great. If you want to see this in more detail, I'll try to get to a painting video earlier. And then we've got all the different accessories. So she has, a sword, the dagger, the gem is that small little thing up above the elbow of the arm. So what she was holding in one hand is the scabbard for the sword, and the sword itself in the other. So scabbard, sword, which I didn't notice at first. That's a gem hanging off of like thread or something, like a rope or something. And again, the dagger was there as a separate piece. So that's that entire model. Be careful. Again, these are super fragile. I love the way they look, but I don't know if I'm ever going to let my friends use them for play sometimes. At least the more finicky ones. Then we move on to the key piece of this video. Devil Satan. I know it's a little odd. Some people might say, isn't that the same thing? Well, one, depending on the scripture, no, they're not. And two, Satan is a featured, like a primary character or monster in the Kingdom Death universe. It is, as recently stated in an update that had just come out for Black Friday, which I'm filming on the day of, it is one of the oldest creatures in the setting. And it has the ability to transform itself. So this is based off the original models that came out of the Satan sisters, which are, Satan had split itself into two different twin sister models. I think this only counts as one, but there are two models in here. That's why I said earlier, sort of an art model, sort of a white box model, but you'll see when I get to more of this. So let's get inside. Woo! Alright, so first off we have the art card, which is the same art as on the front of the box, which I'm very surprised that it was on the front of the box, considering that this is literally how one of the past ones has looked, the Halloween specific models. But continuing, we have a bag with a model. So one of these is definitely intended to be able to be used as a player piece. The other one is intended to be used as an art piece, as the eventual Satan model is going to be, and currently scaled as in they've shown pictures of the prototype in that same update I was talking about earlier, the largest model in the game, larger than the Dragon King, which is the current largest model in the game. I would point to it, but it's actually behind this shelf here, in terms of, like, in frame. But here are all the different pieces and everything. It's all on one thing for both models. So the one model that's more of an art model is clearly a larger model. Like, here is the leg of that model. Here's the body of the one you can use as a playable model, or piece, really. And then there are actually some pieces to use on actual player models, because I didn't know this till after I had bought it. There's a item. Didn't realize it. Just took a double look to take a closer look at the model, and it is called the Hope Spear. a speed 2, accuracy 6, strength 0 weapon. Oh, sorry, Hope Stealer, not Hope Spear. It is a spear. Weapon, melee, spear, two-handed, other, meaning saviors and such can't use it. Unique, sentient, so you have to be insane, and you can't get more than one of these no matter what. Reach 2, at the end of the showdown, you die. Settlement's death count is added to the weapon's strength, so that's how it has a strength. Wow, that's an actual legitimate reason to track how many people have died, and that can be really crazy. What? Oh! So I'm reading the back, and it actually has rules for introducing it, and it is, if you're insane when you pull the adventure sword from the Griststone face, you hear a distant cackle. You're holding a much different weapon. Game the Hope Stealer instead. Thankfully, it's not cursed, otherwise it would just end up killing the person who has it. Meaning it would go away as well if it was also irreplaceable, which it's not. So, that's how you make it. This would fall under more white box stuff than some of the white box models, which are joke stuff. So, honestly, because it has legitimate rules for putting it in, and this doesn't seem too stupidly unbalanced, I feel that this falls into the same thing as Percival and Fade's gear cards, where they're more intended as mini expansions. Although they have another way of it, they actually have hunt events to be introduced. But regardless, back to the model here. Yeah, this model ends up being pretty big. The model bases are making that pretty clear. The standard single character size model versus the standard small monster size. So, and as I was saying, this is going to be tiny compared to the actual Satan model, nor is it going to look anything like the female versions. It's also known as the Ivory Dragon. But regardless, I could yammer on and on about this setting for a long time. If people would like that, please, by all means, comment and ask. But for now, that's all. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to press the like button. If you think somebody else will enjoy this, feel free to share this video. Either way, you'll help this video get seen more. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and press the dislike button. I won't mind, but please leave a constructive comment as to why. Also, feel free to comment in general, such as if you want to see any of this stuff closer in detail or a painting video of them earlier. In fact, one recent request was put in for Kingdom Death model, and I had just recently finished that. Will still be some time before the video gets posted, but it's coming. So I do follow through on these requests. Or, as I had just said, if you want to hear more of my thoughts on the Kingdom Death setting and lore, or anything else along those lines, feel free to comment. And if you want to see more like this, be it more unboxing videos, my painting videos, or my board game overview videos, all three of which I do for Kingdom Death Monster, or anything else you might want to see that I do on this channel, feel free to subscribe. Regardless, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.